Staying on the path that I've chosen, straight up, come my way, and I'll see you at the top. 'Cause something's gonna happen in this story.
I'm Elaine Hockwald. I've been retired since last September. I am 63 now, and we've been on the road for exactly a year. We have actually been living in our coach for 2.
And I am Clarke Hockwald, the male part of the duo, and I'm also 63. And I still work part-time on the road.
Basically, we had owned a sailboat, and our son got a motorhome, went out, was going in the desert, and he looked at his dad and he said, "Dad, that sailboat's not going to the desert." So we decided we'd try to do some motorhoming. And after we got into it for a little while, we realized that this is something we really wanted to do. We wanted to travel, we wanted to see the country, and we spent a lot of time talking about it and working our way to where we were going to be able to go out and see the country in a motorhome.
Well, our initial plan when we moved out of the house on January 31st.
Right.
But prior up to that, so we kind of made a decision in December we were going to move out. Our kids said, "Okay, we'll lease a house from you." So this all happens over about 6 weeks. And our plan was just to move from park to, there are a lot of county parks where we can stay for 2 weeks at a time. And we were just going to move from park to park, paying, and it was pretty reasonable, rent when you pay by 2 weeks. But then I found out that they had work camping positions at Rancho Jurupa Regional Park in Riverside, California.
Right.
And they just had put in some park models, needed somebody to clean those. So we went and applied on a whim, again, about 3 weeks before we hit the road. And within that 3 weeks, we were called, we were interviewed, did our background checks. And on February 1st, we were camp hosts.
Part of the initial thing for doing that before I retired, because I didn't retire until September, and he basically didn't retire until October, was we wanted to see if we could live in a small space together.
We're living on, we both retired early at 62, so we're getting Social Security. We had money in a IRA, but a lot of that got eaten up by the downturn. We lost a lot of the equity in our house. And so we're sitting here thinking, well, can we still make it? And of course I still had insurance income coming in. And we decided, well, it'll never be the perfect time. I know we can make this work, and we figured out a budget, figured what we had coming in, and okay, let's just take off. It was kind of almost a little leap of faith.
Yeah. One thing we really worked at was making sure we had no debt. We had everything paid off. The only thing left was your car, which we paid off while we were on the road, and our house. And so what we were able to do was, because we couldn't, if we had tried to sell the house, we would have gotten nothing out of it. So we have 2 of our children and 2 of their friends renting the house from us. So that pays for all of that, which makes it a lot. Yeah, it takes it off the books. Which means when you go on the road, you don't, if you're not worried about paying your rent and your mortgage and your electrical and, the 14 credit cards and everything else, then it makes it a lot easier.
Cool. Right. So what about your income sources as you're roaming? Because you are supplementing here and there.
Yeah, we did. He is supplementing with his insurance work. He still has a small book of business. And then we decided this current year that we would go ahead and work at Amazon.com, that they pull a lot of workforce campers to do. And we originally were thinking we're going to do 8 weeks, and then it turned out to be 11 weeks. And now we say if we ever go back, it might be 4 weeks. But it was a really good source of income for those in our, who are on the road, to be able to spend as many weeks as you want and supplement. We call it our diesel fuel. So now we've got supplemented our diesel
what we've done fuel. Our goal was to net $8,000, which we did, which basically will cover our diesel fuel consumption for the next 24 months or so. Just depends on how far we move each month.
Right.
So it's taken that outside of our normal budget, which really gives us a lot more disposable income now. And just for 11 weeks of our time, now we can roam pretty freely for a couple of years.
We had been looking at several different motorhomes in a certain price range, and we initially were looking for like what we called our interim motorhome. But we had a friend of ours getting married in Palm Springs, and he had to happen to see an ad for this particular motorhome, and it was available to look at the time we were going to be down in that area. And I got to tell you, I walked up to it and I thought, oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful motorhome. And when the owner had opened the door for us and I walked in, I turned around and looked at him. It was like kind of like, why are we going for an interim coach when we could have this one? And just a couple of things that really struck me initially was it was so quiet inside. It was relatively cool, having sat in sun in Palm Springs. I have a washer-dryer combo, and I can walk around my bed. And that was a big key thing for me, was being able to walk around my bed.
Okay, Clark, what is this thing?
This is a 1982 36-foot Newell, N-E-W-E-L-L. They're made in Miami, Oklahoma. If they're building a coach, it's because it's been ordered, and they've been in business since 1967 and still are making new coaches today. Now they're about 45 feet long and cost about $1.5 million. This one cost in '82 $330,000 to build, and we got it for about a tenth of that. I feel very blessed and fortunate to end up with a quality coach. Basically a custom-made coach to be a motorhome from the day it was built. We have a 26-foot enclosed car trailer that we searched high and low for. We have a 2002 Ford Thunderbird that we did not want to pull four wheels down, or what they call it, four down.
Right.
Because the cars just get beat up. And it'd be one thing if I just had a car that I would have for 4 or 5 years, and then it was inexpensive. But it's an expensive car, and we wanted to keep it looking nice. So. But the biggest benefit to that is it gives me a garage where I have a lot of bikes with me, and I have my little bike shop in there. I can work on my bikes. I work on bikes for friends. Like I think I've worked on 10 bikes here at Cedar Key,
right.
Which is a lot of fun. And it just gives me a place to go to get outside the trailer when she's busy doing something, wants a little peace and quiet. Kids were excited for us, and we've raised 5 kids, and they all, thankfully, are very appreciative of the hard work we put in all those years raising them. And so, they would all say, "Hey, do you guys deserve this? Go out and have a good time." When it came down to us actually leaving a year ago, there were a lot of tears. I was surprised at how emotional some of the kids got that we were leaving, even though they were for us.
I was surprised at how emotional he got as we were leaving.
For me, I guess the thing that I learned the last year is we started off thinking about all the cool places we were going to visit, and because it's a big country and so much to see. After a year, it's really the people we have met along the way, the friends we've reconnected with, the new friends we've made, friends we've gotten to know better. That is really at the forefront of my memory, and which gives me the most pleasure. And the places are cool. Where we're at is a cool place, and that just makes it all better. But it's the people that you meet along the way, interact with, and the community that is out here for you that makes it so much easier to change to this lifestyle.
Right.
Can't you feel it coming?